Today's fast-moving life, people don't have enough time to meet new people and have the connection. Some people are introvert to talk to new people out there. Do you think this is convenient for those people? That is question number one. And question two is, how do you know that a relationship is toxic or not, and how to come out of it?
Okay, so these are two questions. The first one is people are dating on Tinder, Bumble, etc., and they don't have time to make. See, the way I see it, there's no such thing as having time. There is something as accessing time. See, all of us get 24 hours in the day. There's nothing stopping you from waking up 2 hours earlier and sleeping 2 hours later. How do you think successful people do it? How do you think they do it? You think they have extra time? You think Mr. Ambani has a different day he lives through? He has what a 72-hour day? It's about managing time, not about having time. So either create a time log, create a time sheet, and see how much time. So you have apps as well that track this for you. Get one free app or pay for it, 200 rupees, and figure out how much time is getting spent on you checking WhatsApp messages and liking dogs photos on Instagram versus you actually trying to find an authentic relationship in the real world or the virtual world. See, there's no harm in finding a relationship on Tinder or Bumble, but ideally convert it to a real world relationship. Get on a video call, talk to each other, access each other. So I don't believe in this whole thing that I don't have enough time. Right? You have to make the time. We all have the same number of hours. You have to design a life that suits your temperament. When I worked in the corporate world, I too have done 17-hour, 16-hour days. But then I did it for a few years. Then I moved to Singapore where the 16 hours became a very respectable 8 hours. And then I realized I don't want to work for someone else. I can work for myself because I figured that there are ways in which I can still pay my bills while also having some degree of freedom and autonomy, which I enjoy. I enjoy that, right? So it's about creating a lifestyle that supports your pursuits and then aligning yourself with those pursuits. Next question you had asked was, do you think people are introvert? See, if you're introverted, it means you are not, you have made a choice to not access people or access conversations. So that is a choice you have made. Really, your personality is not something you have only inherited; it's something you have designed as well. A little bit of both, I would say. So if you want to meet new people, you can't just sit around and wait for Seema auntie to come and find someone for you, isn't it? You got to take the effort. You got to do the legwork, right? Like there's no such thing as napping your way through fitness. You got to go and put in the hours, do the reps, eat those kales and greens and celeries, isn't it? You can't have samosas every day and say, "Oh, I'm becoming fat." So you got to put in the legwork. There is no other way of doing it. If there is, please let me know and I'll change what I'm saying. How to know if a relationship is toxic or not? See, it's toxic if it makes you stay awake at night and not in a good way. You feel unpleasant, you feel low self esteem, you feel nervous, constantly double guessing yourself. You constantly feel like you have lost out on a lot of friendships because you're giving a lot of time only to your partner, constantly feeling guilty and constantly feeling tired, physical fatigue, as if you're carrying a bag full of rocks, okay, for no reason. So that's when you know it's toxic. You have to see how it's affecting your schedule, your relationships, and your mood. These three things. That's where your answers will lie. No one needs to tell you you're feeling hungry, right? Imagine someone, your mother came to you and said you're feeling hungry in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're hungry, you'll say, "Yaar, khana kahan hai?" Similarly, if you're feeling like crap, no one needs to tell you that you feel like crap. So that's a very good indicator that you're maybe in a toxic relationship, right? It's an indicator. Then later you verify through counseling, do some googling, go look at my YouTube channel. I speak on this topic all the time. है See how I try to pitch myself. It's a bit contrived, isn't it? थोड़ा करना पड़ता है. Lockdown के time में we're all सबका पैसा बंद हो गया. सब घर पे बैठे हैं कच्चे में. How important is it to let a person know what issues you are dealing with so that they know what they're dealing with? Depends on the maturity level of the person, Ria. Some people don't care about your issues. They say, you have issues, big shit. My dad had issues. My dada had issues. He came with 5 rupees from the gaon to the city, but look, now we live in a big house at Malabar Hill. So some people may not have empathy for your issues. So you need to know how that person is going to process your sharing of those issues. If they're going to understand, if they're an empathetic person, some people say, "What issues, yara? Too much issues your generation has, man. Have some chicken lollipops and beer, man. What issues you have, huh? Living in big house, issues, all this depression and all, they're making money, these psychiatrists." There are people who will give you that response. So you see, you have all kinds of people. So you have to know who to share with. No, you can't go to a tailor and ask him about your nutritional requirements. He's a tailor. He knows how to stitch you the best lehenga. But you go to a nutritionist and ask them to stitch you a lehenga, they'll say, "No, but I can help you lose weight to fit into that lehenga." So आप किससे बात कर रहे हो? That is important, isn't it? You have to make those choices. You know that when you love someone but still need your time to get into a relationship, is it okay? Take all the time you want. As I said, time is limited and finite for everyone. Everyone has 24 hours. So if you need time because you've had some negative experiences in the past, or you feel like you don't want to jump into it, at least make your intentions clear to that person. नहीं तो क्या होगा, उसको आप लटका के रखोगे. You'll keep that person hanging, and that person is waiting to hear from you, is pining for you, and then you say, I need time, I need time, I need time. Okay, it's fine, fair. You need time, it's good. It's something you're doing for yourself. But at some point, reveal the suspense as well. Okay, it's like a good murder mystery. You need, the last one third of the movie has to be about wrapping up all the clues. So you got to wrap up these clues if you want to sustain the relationship. Otherwise, the person is going to move on or lose interest, isn't it? Quite a few questions. How can I go for digital fasting while maintaining my professional and personal relationships? You know what? In these lockdown era that we live in, Kabir, it's a lot harder, my friend, to go on a digital fast, or sort of, keep away from your gadgets. Your mother, father, whoever needs to get in touch with you urgently is going to freak out a little bit. Or you can make it clear. You can post it on social media saying, I'm not going to be near my phone for 2 days. So at least that way people are not caught off guard. Most offices have WhatsApp groups nowadays, and a lot of work gets approved and sent through those WhatsApp groups as well. So if you go on a digital fast, it's going to be a challenge. I'm not going to lie to you. So it's really about what kind of job are you in for you to be able to execute that. Do you think people with mental illnesses can also have a relationship because they deal with different issues and things get complicated for them? So if you have a mental illness, firstly, a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist need to give you a assessment about that. And then later, through the course of therapy, once you are feeling a lot more balanced, you'll be able to bring that sense of balance. You'll bring your best self into the relationship as opposed to use the relationship to discover your best self. That's the problem. People do that. They say, because I'm in a relationship, I'm better. No. If you are better, you will naturally find a better relationship as well. It's the other way around. Ways to get out of a situationship. Tell the person that you're done waiting around. Say goodbye and good luck and block the person. That's how you get out. It has to be clean, has to be decisive. So that's the way to get out of a situationship. You say, I'm not feeling it. Or what's happening? There's this ambiguity. What are we? Are we doing it? Are we not doing it? Are we committed? Are we not committed? Is there loyalty? Is there no loyalty? Is there love or is there no love? What is this? We can't watch the three different climaxes of three different movies and stitch them together and say this is one movie, because the plot's not going to make sense. So you got to find a way to create some kind of coherence in that narrative you all two are sharing with each other. Why are we talking to each other? Why are we doing this? Well, I have enough friends. I'm sure you have enough friends. Unless there was some romance brewing, why are we doing this? So it's important to sometimes take the person to task. Do it gently, of course. Don't be confrontational. You'll freak them out otherwise. Okay. How to make someone who's important to us understand about our insecurities and make our relationship grow further. Talk to them. That's the best way to do it. And if you need someone to help facilitate that dialogue, go to a psychotherapist, go to a counselor. What are your suggestions on how to get over a long-term abusive and kind of psychotic behavior relationship? Saliha, you have to give yourself time. Okay, you have to. There's no other way to get out of it. But obviously, you need to also know why the relationship went down that path. Because it's a very serious problem if you're in an abusive relationship and there's all kinds of stuff happening: physical, emotional, sexual abuse. I even heard of relationships where one partner stole money from the other person. So all kinds of abuse. So definitely you have to. It's like how when there's a dead body involved, there has to be a post-mortem of the body to know cause of death, time of death, right? So it's like a medical officer has to examine and sort of fill out that paperwork. You need to do that for your relationships as well, because a lapsed relationship is essentially a dead relationship. It didn't reach where it had to reach. It didn't culminate, isn't it? So having said that, you have to perform an autopsy, and if you can't do it, get in an expert who knows what they're talking about. And give yourself time. Be kind, okay? Give yourself time. Some people take 1 month, some people take 5 months. Invest in yourself, work out, look good, feel good, read. My interest in psychology came because I had a really shit breakup. So actually, I should thank that girl. I wouldn't have been in the mental health profession had I not gone through that breakup. I was an advertising guy, man. I was in TV and advertising, hardcore, I had long hair. I used to work at Discovery Channel, all kinds of things. But I understood so much about myself when I read, books by Thomas Harris and Byrne and all this stuff. So I said, this is damn good, yeah. And I don't want to keep it to myself. मेरे को बांटना है, free में बांटना है, because no one teaches this stuff in school, isn't it? So that's why there's a constant smile on my face, because these things were not obvious to me for so long, and I've suffered too, so I know your pain. Long-term relationships suck when they fall, and they fall hard. How to handle relationship if we're busy with work all the time and can't give enough time to that person? I answered this, Kabir. You got to make choices, man. You got to drop things from your schedule. You got to spend less time meandering around. How do you keep the spark and chase alive in a relationship that eventually fades into the comfort zone? You got to keep discovering new activities to do with each other that you all haven't done with each other. Take up a sport, learn some kind of dance together, cook together, clean together. Travel to new destinations together, plan itineraries together. Maybe put down an investment in some kind of stock, or start an FD together. Learn, become financially literate. So many things you can learn online. Maybe start a podcast together. So many couples start even Instagram accounts together and they do something with their dog or whatever. Whatever floats your boat, man. You got to find new activities to do with each other. When can a person be completely ready to be in a relationship? You're never fully ready. Let me be honest with you. You're always in the preparation phase. That's life. You have to constantly learn, relearn, find the solution, take it apart, and then put it apart again. That's life. Assembly, reassembly. You will never be fully ready. Not even when you're 79 years old. You won't. You'll always be discovering new things about yourself. So don't get complacent or lazy. There's that quote which I really like. It's called "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It's a very beautiful and profound quote if you think about it. Google it. Mahima is writing it down. Mahima is like, let me write this down. Lovely. I can see you. I can see some of you all, right? Shruti, I can see you. You use Colgate. I know. You have nice teeth. Very nice. And maybe it's the lighting. I don't know. Something about the lights here also makes me look like a Robocop. What else is there? Can a long distance relationship really work after years and years of being together and having a habit of always being by each other's side physically? Yeah, it can work. It can work if there is a goal to it, and that you all are in a long distance, but she visits, you visit, you all meet, your families know each other. There is a plan that someday someone's going to put a ring on someone's ring finger. There's going to be a marriage. So once those logistics are worked out, then the long distance relationship can work out. Having said that, most people's long distance relationships are very randomized. So that's why they don't work out. There's no schedule of every 3 months I will come, then after that every 2 months you will come. And obviously there's the problem of infidelity, right? You see someone who's like more accessible physically to you, is nice, you guys get along also. तो वो हो जाता है. So long distance relationships are a challenge, but they're not impossible. But yes, they're a challenge. And most of them will fail because they're not planned well. Planning is required. I'm going to be 18. Yay! Good for you. What's the best or perfect age to get into a relationship? I mean, it's not about chronological age. I think psychological maturity is very important. I think when I was 18, I was naive. I was like a goat. Okay, I had no idea what I was getting into, and I was constantly made a fool of by so many situations because I trusted very easily. I grew up in boarding school, and my school was on a hill, and we didn't have television or cable TV. We couldn't even call our parents. I used to write letters to my mother. So मैं एकदम मतलब like a Amish village वैसे मैं grow हुआ हूँ. Okay, so I only had my school library was my adda. So I got my access to the real world was to libraries. So I read lots of books. I read maddening amounts of science fiction, H.G. Wells, Isaac Asimov. I read all the classics, Oscar Wilde, Mark Twain. सब पढ़ा बैठ के, because that was my only access to the world. तो मेरे को उल्लू बहुत लोगों ने बनाया when I was 18. So if I could go back in time, I would have said, भाई रुक थोड़ा, तेरी मूछ नहीं आई अब तक, चिल कर थोड़ा, तू पचाओ में इनका, don't get into this zone right now. तू मुंह के बल गिरेगा और बहुत गंदा गिरेगा, उठेगा नहीं फिर. Relax, have a sandwich. I would have said that to myself at 18. But having said that, I would have not reached this point had I not been through some of those messy situations in St. Xavier's. I have no qualms talking about my own mistakes because they've helped me grow. I'm that much stronger because all my mistakes now help my clients have better relationships. So that's okay. I'm okay with that. That's how I see it. I've changed the way I see it. How can one not let their ego take over the relationship? Like, how can we let go of our ego? Well, your ego is kind of like something you have collected. It's like this. It's like, antique furniture. At some point it's going to start collecting dust. You're going to have to start cleaning it, or you're going to have to start selling it off when you realize that it's actually eating up space in your house and you can't even renovate the house. Your mind is like your house. You have to keep renovating it every few years, get a new paint job done, throw out some things, declutter the shelves, organize things. So your ego is your pride, and that is going to destroy not just your relationship but your in romantic relationships. It will also affect your career, because if you become successful, you'll feel that, oh, I've got everything now, I don't need anything else, and you become complacent. And remember, the moment you've become complacent, there are people at your heels who are going to come and take the chair from you. They're going to take over from you. So you want, the king is not always the king. There's always some mutiny in the ranks. So every king who got complacent, read the history. Okay, read history of all kings. The moment they've chode ho gaye, mote ho gaye, buddhe ho gaye, their own nephews and sons have thrown them in prison and said, "Tu abhi invalid ho gaya, tu bahut choda ho gaya." So that's life, It's a very competitive and opportunistic and nasty place. All right. What's the next question? Wow, this font is small. Is planning important in relationship, or should we go with the flow? Little bit of both, Vivian, I would say. Little bit of both. You got to sometimes, some spontaneity is fun as well, but some planning is also required. You don't give an Excel sheet to your girlfriend on her first date with you, okay? This is what we're going to do in 4 months from now. You'll freak her out, she'll go away. Yeah. So a little bit of planning, but keep that planning largely in your mind, and do share it sometimes as well. Thank you, Daksha. I'm glad you liked the session. If a person is being sarcastic when I'm being serious, what to do? And also my partner and I are trying to work it out, and he keeps avoiding some topics. See, sarcastic people usually use that as a defense mechanism because they want to alleviate their own awkwardness in dealing with a situation. So maybe the trick here is to catch the person when they're in a good mood, because a sarcastic person is not sarcastic 24/7. Sometimes they're very serious as well. So you got to, as I said, you got to ask for permission. You got to say, listen, man, I need the serious side of you to be accessible to me. Fun and games and sarcasm can come later, but it really hurts me, when I'm saying something serious and you don't take it seriously. So tell me when you're free and we'll talk. Then you're free, and when you can be your non-sarcastic self, because I want a partner, not a stand-up comedian. I hope you understand and you can respect that. Okay? So sometimes it's about asking for permission, setting a time. What to do if you're always helpful and loyal to everyone, but you get backstabbed by everyone now and then? Does this portray something is wrong on your part? Naivety and gullibility means there is something that you are doing. Kabir, what happens is we don't get prepared for relationships by our families in schools and colleges. We get prepared to learn parts of the flower, pressure belts, which was the first fort that Shivaji took over. This is the shit they're teaching us in school. Remember your periodic table. How useful is your periodic table to you on a daily basis? How useful is geometry to you on a daily basis? The history of the Congress party. What was Motilal Nehru's part in writing the first draft of the Indian Constitution? This is the kind of crap they have he was talking about. It's useless information. It's absolutely useless. How are you going to use this in your real life? Is it going to make you richer? Is it going to make you smarter? Okay, maybe a little bit smarter. So you see, no one prepares you for life. So you get backstabbed. So you are naive. So you are an easy target. So that's why people like me exist. We're here to give you no bullshit advice. Shit, I swore again. Kia is like writing this down. What are you writing, Kia? Stop writing. Alright? I'm a bit worried now. She's been constantly writing. Okay? So let's see what else is there.
Sir, just a minute. Are you okay with so many questions? Is it fine?
Yeah, we're almost done, right? We're okay. We'll
There are a few people who have raised their hands, so they might like to unmute. And
we'll do another 10 minutes. No problem.
Yeah,
no problem.
okay.
We'll do another 10 minutes. No harm.
Okay,
since you guys are so enthusiastic. Okay. Kabir, I hope that answered your question. Okay. How to get over a past toxic relationship? If I talk about myself, I had a 3-year-long relationship and ended up on a bad term. 6 months have lapsed. Emotional breakdowns. Hitvi, you will need some counselling, because you see, ऐसा मैं यहाँ पे one size fits all जवाब दूंगा तो it's not the right thing to do. Also, we need to understand why the relationship ended. See, there's one thing we need to always scratch below the surface. As a counsellor, my job is I'm part social worker, part detective. I have to really know why it ended. It ended is okay. I have this information. Why did it end? So many things could have happened. Is there infidelity? Is there abuse? Is there boredom? Is there family pressure? Social pressure? Is there mind games? Is there lying? Is there manipulation? What is there? What has caused the end? So many reasons. I'm sure I've only scratched the surface. But these are the ones we commonly hear. why relationships end. How to deal with long years friendships and now they're turning into toxic ones. I think I answered this before. You got to know what you're okay with, Nishi. I think it's about knowing how much you can take. Like, I remember reaching a point when I got cheated on, by the way, once, in a very serious, 4-year relationship, and she cheated on me. Ended up marrying the guy also. I found out later, someone told me, because I obviously didn't speak to her about it. So when I actually woke up the next morning after I realized I'm cheated on, and I asked myself the question, or kitna, how much more is it going to take for you to, feel this sense of betrayal and humiliation? Like, when are you going to wake the hell up? Man, like, when are you going to learn to stop being so naive? I've also been there. So I said, okay, maybe there's certain books I can read, maybe there's certain resources I can identify, so that I'm not so trusting, not like a bakre ki tarah kisi ko bhi trust karo. No, you need to have your wits about you. Because the world will constantly try to exact its pound of flesh from you, isn't it? So we have to learn from our mistakes. We have to grow from it. We have to grow beyond it, isn't it? You like a person, but what do you do when the same person gets on your nerves after a period of time, Anushka? So here's the thing, you gotta first, again, I don't know why that person's getting on your nerves. It's very ambiguous. So some problems can be negotiated through. Like, if a person is getting on your nerves because they are behaving in a certain way, then we need to maybe have a chat with them and say, hey man, why are you doing this? Or, this is making me uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable. So remember, use the I feel language. So a discussion will have to be facilitated, or, as I said, go to a counselor. They'll give you some nice tips on how to actually have that conversation without it becoming a mess, or worse, World War III. Well, I don't have much idea about relationships, but just want to know, it's dating someone is being in a relationship, or we date someone to know each other? Nice question, Vivian. So let me say this way: dating is the act of auditioning someone in order to prep them to get into a relationship with you. So when you are dating, it means you all are having dinners, going for movies. Maybe sometimes, if she's okay, maybe you all hold hands. Physicality has to be mutually negotiated. How comfortable are you with each other? And the relationship is when you clearly dictate to the person that, we are boyfriend, girlfriend. We're exclusive to each other. We're, sort of together now. We're item, or whatever you want to call it. And now we see where it goes. If it lasts through the ages, maybe there's an engagement, maybe we move in, maybe there's a marriage. That's a relationship when it's official that you all are no longer going to be seeing other people. So these things have to be spoken about. Kabir is in the medical field. I have to address duties in the hospital all the time. I get called upon any time of the day. How do I balance my time in between professional and personal relationships? See, Kabir, that's the nature of your job. If you were in the military, or you were in the private security, or any sort of industry that requires this kind of requirement. सो इसलिए पुराने ज़माने में बोलते थे डॉक्टरों के साथ शादी होनी चाहिए एट्सेट्रा. ओल्ड स्कूल थिंकिंग थोड़ा बोल सकते हैं, बट यू नीड टू फाइंड समवन हु इज ओके विद दिस. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ अ गर्ल इज एन एयर होस्टेस और फ्लाइट अटेंडेंट एंड शी नीड्स टू कीप ट्रैवलिंग ओवरसीज, then she will typically, they say, usko pilot se shaadi karao because he understands the lifestyle. Or if a girl is an actress, typically, she'll marry another actor who knows he's not going to get insecure that, oh, she's wearing these kinds of clothes, or oh, she's with another equally good looking male co-star who's also very social and very witty and very successful. So that's why they say similar professions. But I would say, if you all are good friends, you all can talk about anything and sort of be patient with each other. Not be each other's patients, okay? That's a bad joke, but I get it. Kabir, it's not easy to date when you're in emergency services. So either you meet someone who's from a similar profession, or you explain all these limitations that you have at the very outset, and if the person still wants to be with you, then you explore that. Isn't it, Kabir? And more power to you, man, for what you guys are doing, especially during these crazy times we live in. Best way to get out of emotional atyachar: stop listening to the song. How to deal with over expectation? Very long answer, Pravas. Sorry, this answer itself is a talk. How not to over expect. If we're having a good connection with someone, does it mean you should be in a relationship, as it can end up losing the person? That's a risk, yeah. You will see if you want to explore dating and a relationship with someone, the risk you take is that that may completely get obliterated as a result of time. You may realize, yeah, we were good friends, but अभी ना friends रहे ना relationship रहा. वो रिस्क तो है. इट्स लाइक अगर आप पैसा डालते हो किसी स्टॉक में, तो द स्टॉक प्राइस कैन गो अप ऑल्सो एंड यू कैन अर्न मनी, बट यू कैन ऑल्सो लूज ऑल दैट मनी. सो यू इट्स गोट बी अ कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क. यू गोट अंडरस्टैंड द हिस्ट्री ऑफ द कंपनी, हाउ इट्स previous quarter has been, those who actually play in the stock market. So in a way, life is also about investing time, investing resources, investing your emotions in someone, hoping it leads somewhere, hoping it helps you get where you want to go. So it's important for you to have a little bit of a risk appetite कि मामला खराब भी हो सकता है लेकिन खूबसूरत भी हो सकती है चीज़ें, है कि नहीं? रिस्क तो है लेकिन you can't avoid that. Sorry to say that. Sometimes you get emotionally attached with someone too early, like we start trusting, expecting, and then they leave. Well, people will leave if they want to leave, right? And to get over that feeling, the same answer I gave earlier is you got to give yourself time. Go see a counselor for a few sessions. And just because you are emotionally attached to someone doesn't mean that they have to reciprocate it. So you ask yourself also, why are you so quickly getting attached? Maybe there's something out there as well to be discovered about yourself. Of course you get emotionally attached when you're in a relationship. Of course it hurts when it ends. Of course you have expectations and dreams. There's no such thing as not having expectations. You're a human being. Of course you're going to have expectations. But the trick lies in managing those expectations and not becoming overly dramatic or filmy in the way you think. So don't be filmy about these things. Be realistic. Understand who you're dealing with. And in the course of time, you explore things together, you speak to each other, and you sort of see the best of each other, but also see each other's those little habits that are like really annoying and really strange. So that is a process of discovery that continues throughout life. Even couples who have been married for 28 to 34 years, even longer than that, are constantly learning new things about each other. If you want to learn, you will learn. If you want to be complacent, you will be complacent. How to identify if a person is only interested in your body or the real you? I think girls are usually better at understanding this than guys. Girls are very intuitive, I feel. Somehow, I feel nature has gifted you all with better memories and intuition, because I think biologically as well, you all are able to usher in the new generation. So, you all have that strong instincts to know when you all are being bullshitted. So, I would say that if someone is only interested in your body, then they probably don't want to talk to you about anything other than the act of sex, or the planning of sex, or when we're going to meet, or when we're going to have fun. So that's usually a good indicator. When they really, anything else you talk about your family, they're like, what's up to TK? When are we meeting? When are we going to do it again? So you got to see patterns. See, with people, you have to judge them based on not their intentions, but based on their track record. What is their previous track record showing? What do their previous relationships indicate about them? What are their previous conversations with you indicate about them? तो आपको सबूत ढूंढना है ना, within the limited sphere of interaction. आपको सबूत ढूंढना है. कभी कभी गड़बड़ भी हो सकती है. But that's why therapists exist. We help you learn to look for clues that in places maybe that you would not naturally look in. Isn't it? Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Nishi. Thank you, Mahima. How does social media attraction affect the relationship? Well, social media is kind of like an advertising platform, isn't it? You're advertising your life. Look how socially active I am. Look how much I've traveled. Look at my cute dog. Look at my nice looking food. Look at my lovely house. Look at my happy family. So the advertising tool. But most people see it as because it's called social media. I think it should be called advertising media, because you're constantly advertising information about yourself. Okay. So understand that what you see on social media are only a person's highlights reel. You may not be seeing what they have gone through to reach there. You see a person's well sculpted body. You don't see that he had to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out for 2 hours to get that body. That you won't see. Unless he's posting photos of the sunrise. Okay, then you know. So beauty guy, isn't it? So social media is a smoke screen. Learn to look through it. Speak to the person on the phone, video call, face to face if it's safe. Or one of those mask things, Not like this. ऐसा mask पहन के मत जाओ यार. How silly. I feel like telling people, but ठीक है अभी जो है सो है.
Back. I mean, I sometimes expect to be like that person also to ask me sometimes how I am doing, or basic things. I'm not asking you to come and meet me or something, but like this basic stuff I expect. And I don't know if I made a mistake telling this, yeah, I expect something, but I feel guilty about it.
See, Prajakta, you don't need to feel guilty for having needs. We all have needs. We all have needs, and we all have to some degree, Prajakta, be responsible for our needs because no one else is going to pick up the buck, for us. No one is going to take
Mm-hmm.
care of you except you. No one's going to teach you how to live a life that you want except you. These are things you have to do for yourself. So the guilt is largely perhaps a result of your own censoring of your own emotions, which you don't need to do. You're a human being. It's all right. Okay. So it's important for you to start being honest with yourself first, and then start being honest with the person you're talking to, because they don't know what's going on in your mind. And here's the thing: if you tell them everything that's going on in your mind, they may not be able to process all that information. Machine garam ho jayega unka. They will say, "Arey yaar, this girl is so needy, so clingy, so emotional, so guilty. She's one kid only." They may say that, but that's not the case. There are so many sides to you, but they will only see that one side. So it's a combination of being honest, but also not being completely transparent. See, there's a difference between transparency and honesty. I'm very honest, but I'm not fully transparent about certain things in
Okay.
my life. हर चीज थोड़ी डालेंगे. What I ate for lunch, what I ate for breakfast. That's not for you to know. I'll put up posts of things when I connect with my friends or when I go somewhere nice. Or sometimes if I made something बहुत अच्छी बनी तो I'll put it up. Are you understanding, Prajakta? So it's a
Yeah,
multi-layered answer. I don't know if I've given you the full answer, but I hope you got
I
something.
think so. Yeah.
Take it, take it. Bolo. Any other questions? What's the harsh reality behind relationships? I got a PM. What's the harsh reality behind relationships that keep them going? Well, a lot of people get into relationships largely. The harsh reality is they get into relationships because of social pressure, family pressure, boredom, loneliness, horniness, uh, peer pressure. All these are the reasons why people really get into relationships. But then these don't sustain. You really the ideal reason to get into a relationship is if you want to discover things together, grow together, learn from each other, and have a little bit of sex. Why not? Nothing wrong with that. But that's not the only thing that you need to get into it for, isn't it? How to move on from a relationship during lockdown without affecting the working efficiency and studies much? Well, you don't have an option but to move on. So I would say seek out counseling. Do things that you enjoy that don't involve other people. I always feel everyone should have certain activities that they do which don't involve other human beings. And the more you invest in those activities, the more you feel good about yourself. So that's a bit of a generalized answer I've given you. Of course, this is something that needs to be explored. What else is happening? How do you help an overthinking partner? You send them for therapy if they're willing. You teach them to not overthink so much. How do you know if a person is the right person for you or not? It takes time. Takes time, takes dialogue. How to maintain the aspect of trust in a long distance relationship? Ooh, that's a tough one. Because trust is not something that is maintained at a constant level. It's like the humidity in the air. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, depending on precipitation and rainfall. So trust also is like the humidity. Depends on what phase the relationship is going through. So of course it's a challenge when it's a long distance relationship. So you got to address that with your partner, isn't it? Talk to them. Is their behavior indicative of the fact that they're not worthy of your trust? There are times we feel lonely and feel sad about ourselves. How do you cope up with that? You go for therapy. There's a very long answer on how to deal with loneliness. Again, that's its own webinar. Is there an accidental ignorance or forgetting about something like about their day? I didn't understand this. What do you mean? Like people forget things. I mean, that's life. You do forget things when you have multiple things to do, isn't it? And yes, you will lose a friend if you try to convert that friend into a partner and then they don't want to be your partner. You will lose that friend. There is no way of avoiding it unless you guys have been friends for so long that you all are able to resolve your differences. There is no way of losing that friendship. I mean, of not losing that friendship. Danger तो है. अगर आप रास्ता क्रॉस भी करते हो तो वहां भी डेंजर है. इसका मतलब आप रास्ता क्रॉस नहीं करोगे. So there's a risk to everything in life. There's a risk to drinking even too much water. Your bladder will burst. There's a risk to everything. There's a risk to putting pineapples on your pizzas as well. Okay, that's something I would never do. All right. Mahima is nodding. Yes, very much so. I don't put pineapples on my pizzas. Someone's coughing. Admission
Okay.
karun gaya. Right? That was the.
Uh,
Yeah, who do we
also,
have?
प्रवास here.
Bola.
Sir, बात ऐसी है कि सर हर relationship either it is a short term or it's a long term, right? So जैसे कि long term relationship होता है, I normally call a short period of relationship as a honeymoon period. Okay, जहाँ पे लवी डबी जानू बाबू सोना वाला सिनेरियो चलता है. In the same sense, but at after limited state, like a limited period, things change. Okay, we don't have much to talk in a relationship. Things change, right? So how they both come into a mutual understanding that things are changing. Okay, we don't have much things to talk. I normally call it as a how to get into a mature relationship from a childhood relationship.
See, at the start, as you correctly said, in the honeymoon period, there's a lot of sex. You're dressing up, wearing nice clothes, getting gifts for each other. बाद में पैसा खत्म, patience खत्म, time खत्म. That's how you feel, isn't it? But you
Yes.
have to, as I said, as a couple, keep finding new things to do together. So I know very few couples. I don't know any couples who watch documentaries together. Do you know how many free documentaries are available on YouTube? How many Netflix and Amazon Prime has? So if you discover new things, even if it's watching a documentary on whales, there's something new to talk about. When's the last time you talked about whales to your partner? And that can lead to something else. See, conversations are very lucid. You start at whales, you end at something else. You also learn so much about each other. You can have healthy debates. It's like this. Discovering new things is also good for your cognitive development. It's also good for your relationships development. So that's why couples have children, because then that's a project that binds you together, whether you like it or not. It binds you. So that's why they say bacha karo. Nahi to what will happen nowadays? Couples may go through a difficult period. Nowadays divorces are a lot easier to get. They happen also with a lot less struggle. Families also say, "ठीक है यार, जाने दो, let them get divorced. At least we don't have to watch them suffer this way with each other." So there is a period of suffering that all couples go through, but it's about keeping things, as I said, fresh, keeping the growth quotient, personal growth quotient, a priority, and then that way you will grow together as a couple as well. So that is, I know it's a bit of a broad answer, but I think that should give you something interesting to think about. So maybe you can have a box in your house full of new ideas of new things we can do together. And every day you have a new idea, you put a chit in. Maybe at the end of the week you pull the chits out and say, "अच्छा ये भी कर सकते हैं." We can do some art together. We can do some cooking together, some cleaning together. We can beautify a certain part of the house together. My parents, my dad's what, 62, my mom is, I think, 59, 60. They do dancing classes together. They started learning how to jive and all. I keep teasing them, yaar, is umar mein kya kar rahe ho? But so cute, they make videos and send me. But they're doing it even now. I'm 34-year-old. My parents are still like dancing in their house. So, that's how it has to be. You got to keep. My dad's clearly not a very good dancer, but he's trying, and he's better than me now. I'll be honest with you. He's much better than me because he has having practice. Okay, so yeah, you got to find new things to do. You got to find that spark. Okay, so what was the other question? Let me see.
I think Vivain had raised his hand.
हाँ विवेन बोलो.
Hello. Hi, Mr. Aman. I just attended your session for the first time, and it was really nice hearing your views about the relationship. So, just one last question I had about it. So, suppose if we are in contact with someone, or if we have a connection with someone, or if we are having a feeling for someone and we express that, right? And after that, what happens? The things doesn't go in a perfect way as we thought. Like it end up in a bad way. So is it wrong? And then we get blame about it, like why you love, and if you don't love, why you being in a relationship? Is it good to express feelings, or is it not good to be in love with someone, or just?
No, I didn't understand the question. So you're saying, is it good to express your feelings? Is that what your question is?
Yeah, is it good to express that you love each other or you love the person? Or
Why not?
It's not good.
Why the hell not? Tell me, what do you
Okay.
think? Why is that a problem?
Yeah, because what happens after being into.
I lost you there, buddy. I can't hear you. Is he here?
Hear me?
Yeah. Say again.
Yeah, so what happens, I've seen some couple being into a relationship, but after some days or maybe some couple of months, they end up in a bad way, or the things doesn't like work as perfect as they used to work in the before. So, is it good to express the things, or is it not just be into that? Like what exactly
The two
It
are
works.
unrelated, man. See, a couple, as I said, is going to go through troubled times. A couple is going to have difficult times. A couple is going to go through their own version of hell.
Yeah.
But how you express yourself to each other, I spoke about the five love languages, Google it later. How you express yourself to each other is a way of showing solidarity and support, isn't
Okay.
it? Because especially when things are difficult, you require more support, isn't it? It's like if you have a broken leg, you're going to need a crutch, right, to be able to support
Yeah.
the rest of your body. Similarly, what if you have a broken attitude, or you're broke, literally, you've been kicked out of your job? You're going to need your partner to be understanding. So what if your partner comes at that time and says something, I love you regardless of your employment status, and we're going to figure this out together because I'm here with you, and I know you're a smart guy. That's why you're a very resourceful woman, and I'm going to support you whatever way I can. So in a way, you have expressed yourself, but you've also helped make that crisis feel less heavy, isn't it? So again, this is a very situation to situation context. I think there's no such thing as expressing yourself too much, especially when you want to show your partner that you care for them. It's nice, yeah. Why hold back? एक दिन आप मर जाते हो, फिर regrets रह जाते हैं. I really hope none of y'all have to lose your friends to death. I've lost 5 friends since 2008 to death. Various ways they passed on, and the only thing that I was thinking about was, yeah, did I tell this person how much I loved them or that I cared for them? So I would try to see the old WhatsApp messages, and in some ways I did, but I feel maybe I could have done more because I never knew they were going to leave me. I could have just sent a random message, hey, I'm missing you, let's connect. You're awesome, and I am so glad we are friends. How rarely does that happen? You just message someone saying, you're awesome, I love being your friend, have a good day. Very rarely, unless you're trying to hit on someone or get money out of them. तो उनको भी लगेगा ना, अरे अचानक कहाँ से प्यार आ रहा है मेरे पे. So let's be more congenial, yeah. I think there's enough suspicion, doubt, anxiety, anger in this world, isn't it? So that's how I feel, at least. That's my personal point of view, at least.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Yes, I got my answer. Thank you so much, sir.
Cheers. What else do we have here? Yeah, I tried answering all the questions, Sakshi. No shit, right? I mean, I abused again. Kia is taking note. No, but see, I try to answer, but you see, you also need to understand a lot of answers cannot be just given in one line. They are multifaceted, multi-step answers. Because even when someone comes to me for therapy, I'm not going to start giving answers. Q&A is very different from therapy. In that, I will be asking more questions than giving answers because I want to know the exact order of events, because people are going to try to hide things from you. They want to paint themselves as victims sometimes, and they want to paint their partners as villains. But sometimes you realize the truth is, stranger than fiction sometimes, isn't it? It's very common, to have. I once had a couple come to me. The husband comes and tells me my wife is cheating on me. I have proof. I have videos with some guy in the office. So someone who's not a therapist will be like, you see, women are doing this. What he didn't tell me was that he sexually abuses her and keeps threatening her, saying that I'll kick you out of the house, you go back to your drunk father. That he never told me. That she had to tell me. So if I had just gotten excited saying, oh yeah, nowadays women also cheat on men, and yes, correct, you came to a counselor, tu chhod de usko, you should be bros, that's silly. I don't even know her side of the story. So you see, that's why I might be seeming a little bit diplomatic to you guys, certain answers I give, na idhar ka, na udhar ka, but that's because I don't know all the facets. I have to do some investigation, no? Aise thodi hota hai. So yeah. Okay, let me see. Someone has asked a question. If someone doesn't want to break up with you, how does that affect your desire to break up with them? I mean, nowadays it's easier, right? You can just say that I'm sorry, but this is not happening for me. I will proceed to block you, to facilitate a smoother, exit from each other's life. We've expunged each other from each other's lives, isn't it? Technically speaking, that's the word, right? So let's just block each other, man. It's not. Will you tell the person, say respectfully, I'm going to block you so that I'm not in your face, you're not in my face. I'm sure you have other places and friends and pursuits and journeys to take on, and I wish you all the best on those pursuits. So good luck. Bye. I'm out. That's what I usually say. I say I'm out. That's it. I don't say you are this way or you are that way, you've ruined my life. I'll say I'm out. That's it. This is more than I'm willing to handle, or more than I'm willing to take on right now. I have enough on my plate. I know what's on my plate better than anyone else, right? So that's how it has to be. You got to keep those boundaries healthy. You got to keep those boundaries active. All relationships get boring, man. Everything gets boring. Season 3 of Dark also got boring for a lot of people on Netflix. All of life is the eternal struggle against boredom. So don't get afraid of getting bored, but start finding new and interesting ways to inject freshness. It's like how you have a bath and brush your teeth every day. You don't just brush once a week. Every day your teeth need that kind of care, your body needs that kind of care. Your relationship is exactly like taking a shower every day. It needs to be constantly checked into, it needs to be constantly looked at. You cannot help a friend through, I've been asked a question, how do you help a friend through relationship issues, especially someone who is an aspiring counseling psychologist? Don't turn your families and friends into your clients. Number one rule of therapy. We offer a counseling course where you have so much practice because you're practicing with other people also who are learning the same skills. So they won't mind if you use your analysis and your techniques on them because they're also learning. उनका भी अच्छा revision हो जाएगा. But you go and try to turn your family into a focus group, or तो अपने दोस्तों को बकरा बना रहे हो. Even if you care, don't get in that space. दोस्त हो, दोस्ती रहो. श्रिंक बनने की कोशिश मत करो. बहुत ज़रूरी है ये. People will ask वो इतनी अच्छी है, why do you want to break? तुम people के लिए relationship में हो कि अपने लिए हो यार? लोग तो कुछ भी बोलेंगे. लोग तुमको आके बोलोगे तुम जिराफ हो, आज से तुम फ्लैट में मत रहो, जाके नेशनल पार्क में रहना चालू करोगे. People will say all kinds of things यार. The world has a mandate to make you more pliable. Remember this. The more mediocre and pliable you are, the easier it is for the world to control you. The more of a rut breaker and an original thinker you are, the more difficult it is to manage you. हिटलर क्या करता था? When he took over a country, पहले उनके म्यूजियम जाके डिस्ट्रॉय करो, फिर उनको इम्प्रिजन करो. वो अपना वजूद भूल जाएंगे, अपनी पहचान भूल जाएंगे, तो उनको स्लेव बनाने में ज़्यादा आसानी होती है. तो आप साइकोलॉजिकल स्लेव मत बनो सोसाइटी के, वो भूल जाएंगे आपको 4-5 दिन में. I remember when Abhishek Bachchan got married to Aishwarya Rai, I remember every publication known to mankind had covered it as if it was the event of the century. कोई पूछता है अभी उनके बारे में? Anyone cares? Now they're obsessed with Taimur. Later they'll be obsessed with someone. Sara Ali Khan was flavor of the season 5 months ago. ये तो हो रहा है देश में. Modi will give a speech, 4 दिन उसकी बात होगी. PM cares fund, पैसा कहाँ गया? So people have flavors of the season. You really want to be one of the 31 flavors of Baskin Robbins? टेस्ट करके चमचे से फेंक दिया, वही औकात हो जाएगी आपकी. So don't give your life on a platter to people यार. You're more than a bloody ice cream flavor. Why do people have to know so much about you? It's a very legit question. You are in a relationship, it's your business ना. Logbook लिख के थोड़ी तुम देने वाले हो लोगों को. We had sex 3 times in the last 2 days and we had 4 meals in the last 2 weeks. ऐसे थोड़ी तुमको बोलना है. You're not answerable to anyone except yourself, isn't it? So stop being so public about what should be so private. Stop it! Kia is writing that down. What writing down, Kia? That was what. Should I swear some more? Maybe not. I'll start swearing then मुझे जाने देंगे. How long this session has been? 2 घंटे. But I'm so happy, guys. There's some lovely energy. And honestly, please find me on Instagram. And I would love it if you follow count बढ़ जाएगा. देखो, I'll enjoy. Okay, so follow me on YouTube as well. I'm very approachable. I'm sending you something right now on your chat. Just have a look quickly.
I'd like to bring this session to an end by giving a vote of thanks to our speakers.
Vote of thanks. Now I want this vote.
Yes.
I want a majority vote. Sujit and Pravas will vote for me. I can see them.
Yeah, so I would like to present my heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for taking out time and joining us today to conduct this session. It was really engaging and informative. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable knowledge and insight with us. It was really helpful, and I hope everyone who joined us today will definitely take something back from this session. I would also like to thank all the Rotarians, Rotaractors, BCMs and the non-Rotaractors for joining us for this session and making this event a great success. Now I'll call upon the president of our club, Rotaractor Sujit Mullapudi, to say a few words and officially adjourn the event.
Adjourn! Another word. I need to use this.
Adjourn.
Call this meeting to order. Let's adjourn the event. I object! Objection overruled.
Thank you so much, Shruti, and thank you so much, sir, for so lovely section. And I like your beard first, and I like your hairstyle, everything. You were amazing throughout the event, and I was listening to everything, and I just noted down somewhere. I don't know. but it's really, really amazing. And I hope everyone loved it, and everyone really loved it, and I definitely loved it. So thank you so much, sir. So I officially adjourn this meeting.
Lovely. Let's adjourn it. All right. I love it. I love the use of old English. Shall
Thank you
exit
so
stage. I shall exit from the left stage. We shall fight them in the. I don't know what was it. Winston Churchill said something. I have no idea. Anyway, we shall fight them in the plains. We shall fight them in the valleys and adjourn them. See you guys.
So you didn't,
Thank
so you
you
didn't
so much.
observe one
Thank you so
thing.
much
There
for
was a
joining.
bell rang right now.
What bell? Oh really? Oh shit.
This please.
Can you do it?
Okay, guys.
So just show the bell again, once again. Please.
What bell is this?
I will
Gong.
Okay then. All right. That if you enjoy that kind of thing, Pravas, why not, right? All right. So thank you, Kia. Thank you, Shruti.
Thank you so much.
I can see. I can only see a few of y'all at a time. So if I've only taken a few people's names, I'm sorry. I know there are quite a few of y'all. So yeah, thank you for being such a lovely audience. Thank you, Kia, for writing a few things down.